All right. Hopefully we're actually live. I think we are. That was not quite expected. I clicked this start stream button, and it said update your NVIDIA driver. I only use that computer for streaming, so I'm not exactly sure what changed on it, but anyway, I sudo apt-get it and apt-get updated, and then went into the UI, and then I had to restart and a bunch of stuff. And then when I rebooted, it had completely forgotten all of the window settings. So I opened OBS, and I couldn't. I opened OBS, and it looked like it opened, but I didn't see the OBS window. So I thought, oh, it's like hanging or it's bugged or something. But it just opened and went to the second monitor, which it previously it had not saved to do that. But anyway, so presumably we're live, and that's resolved, and hopefully it won't. Hopefully it's not new bugs in this version, and it won't crash. So for updates, no substantial updates. I worked a bit on the script for the next video. Yeah, no significant updates on that. And as usual, we will continue on with work on the terminal block mining simulation game. So the changes I did last night finally started to make it a little bit faster again. The whole point of this latest refactoring arc is the end goal is going to be to make it just much more responsive, ideally. And there's also a few bugs on certain terminals, and I kind of fixed those before, but then I reintroduced some of those bugs. I reintroduced some of those bugs when I added the multi-level display, but the latest iteration of the screen drawing is a lot more sophisticated. Okay, so this still works. That's good. All right, so the latest iteration is a lot simpler now. So I think 6 different functions. I've refactored those into this function and this one. They're just a lot simpler now and more robust. And I think what I can probably do now is I'll start writing some unit tests. And actually, I may actually make this a method. Gotta go team red. What does that mean? Oh, team AMD. Yeah, I know historically AMD has had better support or better compatibility with Linux. I guess it's harder to find stuff that's running AMD. Honestly, it's so hard to like match all the constraints necessary to buy a computer that just works. Like I actually, if you think about like how much money I spend on a computer and then how much time I waste like looking for a decent laptop that like actually has all the right specs and the compatibility, and like with my main laptop, I bought it specifically. The only reason I bought that model was because it came with Ubuntu, and then when I upgraded to Ubuntu 24, it stopped working, or like a whole bunch of stuff broke. Team green is NVIDIA, team blue, Intel. I guess if someone says they use Intel graphics, I assume that's usually like integrated, or like basically no dedicated. Does Intel make any graphics cards? Or like a dedicated other than just on the motherboard? IGP was the regular expectation for Team Blue. Past few years, Intel ARC cards have showed up. Interesting. What is that you're doing? I'm working on refactoring some code for a terminal-based video game that I'm working on. Is there a difference between error and exception? I think in the context of Java, what was it? Error. There's exception, and then there's, I'm not sure if it's called error or something different, but there's certain things that are not catchable. So like if you do a try catch, I think like Stack Overflow, that's like a physical, there's like division by 0, I think is, well, that might not be one. Anyway, there's a couple class of things that'll cut a stack trace, but you can't catch it, because if there's no valid, if you run out of stack space, your program is cooked, as they say in Gen Z or Gen Alpha language. Mr. Elder is laying the foundation of the most diabolical takeover of the world, including a lucrative terminal-based mining game. Yep. That's a perfect description of the events that are currently transpiring. Alright, we now have a method dedicated to printing stuff. Lil Kermit says hi. How's it going? Shout me out? What does that mean in this context? Say I love Vin. I don't know what that is. Nope. Hello, Puppet. How's it going? Some drones flying up there in the sky. Drones or planes. Game looks great since I last saw. Huh. I guess to me it feels like it's not changing at all. It's slow as the development is slow as molasses. But I'm making progress. I'm coming to the end of a refactoring arc. I'm just working on making the screen updates a bit faster. Hadn't got on in a week or more. Actually, I think it hasn't changed, like in terms of what you can see visibly. It hasn't changed at all. I think it was maybe a bit slower a week ago, but stop refactoring, release new features. That's where the money. I can't because like the game is like not playable in its current form. Like it's so slow you can't really move around. And a big part of like releasing new features actually relies on like this. When I released last version, it worked quite well, but in terms of the actual code, like if I added new like new frames and stuff like that, I had a whole bunch of weird cases. I had a whole bunch of cases where like if I try to like do a like finalize commit a frame, it would just like crash the program because it would have like out of bounds somewhere, and I never bothered to investigate that because I just thought I'll do it like it was a whole mess of spaghetti code. But now I don't even have to investigate that. Blame customers. But then people will just like, they'll try it and they'll be like, this is terrible, this is not playable. And then if it crashes, they'll be like, oh, that's the end of that. There's also display issues on certain terminals. And like before I start like, pushing all the awesome, like advertising all the awesome features, people are only going to want to try it once. And then if it doesn't work, they'll just leave it. Actually, let's see. I think actually Tmux was one of the... I think this was one of the terminals where it wasn't rendering properly on this machine. But I might have fixed that issue. That's the pure console-based view. Even this view is kind of laggy. Which is like kind of insane. Like it should not be slow in this context. Yep. See that? As an example of one of the things that will hopefully get fixed. Get some blazing flash hardware. Yeah, but then they'll play it and they'll see this. Hello, I'm trying to go to every live stream. You're dedicated. Yeah, I'm not sure how many of these I'll do. I guess or at this point I should probably go to at least day 100. But yeah, my point in this refactoring is to get to a position where I can fix a bug like this. I think this is, I think it's due to, it's not calculating the widths correctly. Every live stream is like 1 a.m. Oh, that's too bad. It's past your bedtime. Turns out it was just Stacy coupon hunting on her work laptop. I don't understand that reference. Is that related to something from a previous chat session? Anyway, that proves my point. All right, the next thing, now I can actually start making some unit tests. Well, less viewers today. I've noticed recently it'll start off with very low numbers of viewers, and then over the course of the couple hours, it like slowly increases quite a bit. So interestingly, recently it's been like record low viewers to start the stream, and then it's record high viewers on the end of the stream. Which is funny. Basically, I thought we had malicious malware trying to fish on someone's sessions. Just a really invasive Chrome plugin. Oh, okay. Release the game on a limited beta test pool of users who can provide initial feedback. You could pretend to incorporate their insights into your next release. It's already, there's already a version you can run. You can click the GitHub link. Hi, Mr. Robert. What are you building? Wish you luck. Unemployed horse. That's a good username. I'm currently working on a terminal-based video game. It's a block. It's a video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks in the Linux terminal, which I'll demonstrate in a moment here. So this is the game. You wander around an infinite procedurally generated universe. You spam the M key to mine blocks, and they show up in your inventory. And that's the game. And currently, I'm working on some unit tests to make it work better. Should add upgrades that you can buy with your recourses over time. I do plan. I haven't really like pushed hard to like to get money for it yet. I think I need a version that's a bit more playable. I think probably by day 100, I think I'll probably have this refactoring arc finished so that it's a bit faster. But I'll probably so the whole point of the game is to have blocks and block types in it of like certain natural minerals. I'll probably I'll just sell like sponsored block types. That seems to be a thing that some people are actually interested in. So you can super chat a certain amount. I think I said $20 or something, and you can have your name put on a block type. So I'm starting off with natural minerals, anything that has a cast number. You can make types of pickaxes. You already can. What have you got? Building? Actually, technically building already exists in the game. So if I run it again, so you can build by you press the P key to place a block. So I placed the block there. And then you can also, if you go tab and go to the inventory, you can select a different block type. So I can even place my metallic iron here. Or if I want to place metallic copper. What games inspired you to make your own game? It's a good question. I mean, I played Minecraft a bit. I'm aware of there's a lot of interesting advanced stuff people have made in Minecraft, but I'm also aware of there's I guess the existence of Dwarf Fortress and the fact that with such a primitive UI that people like, I would say there's really nothing about Dwarf Fortress that interests me as a game. It's probably not a game I'd ever consider playing. But the fact that there's an audience for such an abstract concept, I think in my view tells me it's there might be an actual financial model in pursuing something like this. Especially because I can just keep building on it. But yeah, I guess the question was about building. So right now I'm on y equals -1. Now I can go up a level. So oh yeah, and I guess because of my layer thing, you can now see. So right now we're looking down on like the platform. That red stuff is like the platform below at y equals -1. But right now we're at y equals 0. So if I want to build a wall around the perimeter here, and then I can go up, and now I'm just building on top of the wall at y equals 1. I can go up again, and so on. So that would be the equivalent of building, making something. Do you know, or did you play Factorio? I've heard of Factorio. I've never played it before. So there you go. There is a building, a very simple building with a roof. How far can you go up and down? You can go up to the maximum 64-bit integer, which is a very large number. You would fill up the entire hard disk on your hard drive before you got there. Okay. Now let's make some tests. Do you plan on making a height limit? Probably not. Technically there is. It's just whatever the maximum integer is. ever think this game will be popular? I think it would have to, in order to be popular, it would have to work on platforms other than the terminal. But I think pursuing an entrepreneurial project like this, success as like an independent person doing something like this, it's not just about the right design of the game, but it's about like the design of the business model and like building the right thing at the right time. So I think focusing on the terminal stuff would bring in like super people who are. I already have a large audience of people who are interested in the terminal, and I think there's definitely some overlap between people who are interested in games and like people who are obsessed with terminal-based stuff. And there really isn't many terminal-based games. It also makes sense because in terms of like logic and mechanics and stuff like that, I can get by with a much simpler user interface, so I can spend less time overall working on the game with a simpler user interface, and then most of the code will be reusable if I actually make like a 3D version. What recording software to use? This is using OBS for streaming. Facing NVIDIA problems, huh? Yes, that is what was responsible for my later than normal start. could go because I have 4-hour drive in the morning. That's pretty long. Have a good night. In my undergrad, we had this shared PC. We used to build autonomous vehicle software. It had dependency on CUDA for vision stuff. For whatever reason, after a week, the NVIDIA driver, I think the other students were messing with it. I had to reinstall the driver each time. Nice. Capybara says, Robert, can you flash the camera? Nope, I can't. It's physically impossible. Alright, it didn't output what I expected. Capybaras are funny. Yeah, everyone has seen that video of the capybara with the orange on him. Why is this not working? Robert, you're so cute. Cutie Stooty. I have trouble pronouncing that. Well, thank you. That sounds like a positive thing to say. So thank you. I'll accept your compliment. Robert, I love you. Well, thank you for the kind words. Tor, such a cutie. You make my day. Thank you for the kind words. Please, please. Please what? Bro made a proper glitch out. Yeah, there's so many of these. It's very, I mean, writing code is hard, but then writing code while live streaming, reading unhinged chat messages. Police beard? B-A-R-D, yeah. Police beard. I shaved my beard. Smell beat. Yeah, this is it's getting kind of spammy. Nope. Not beating bot allegations. I mean, it could be bots, but it also it's just as plausible that it's like a kid. Because I guess that's what the internet is for. It's for you just go on random live streams and then you say crazy things and then see how people react. Grab the camera for the Lamar Jackson edit. Yeah, someone asked me to do that before, and I had no idea what they're talking about. And then I looked it up later, and it's some like football thing or something on TikTok. I don't see how that relates. I can't even reach the camera. The camera's way over there. This is not a football channel. Are you coding? Yes, I am in fact coding. You said that you love me, but you don't even know what I'm doing. Can you code my dad back into my life? I'm sorry, that is beyond my capabilities. Hopefully I can figure out why this isn't printing correctly. Hayden Anderson, I'm gonna have to tell you to stop spamming, or else I'll have to time you out. Wonder if they were old enough to read the TOS. Maybe not. I'm kind of surprised how young some of the people are who come here, and I think there's a lot of like Gen Alpha people who watch TikTok all day. Can you become my dad, please? Sorry. It's too much work. Okay, did that print anything? Can I get a room tour? Nope. You can get a code tour. Okay, we got that text. Roberto, can you code me into the game? Nope. I refuse. Sai Bao. Never heard or seen that word before. What if he has a cast number? Then I would consider it. Feed the trolls or increase engagement. Tough decision. I don't know. Yeah. I might time out for this, but I mean the thing is, like, this is like, if you do live streaming, you have to accept, like, this is what live streaming is. You live stream, and then random children will come into your chat and then spam things just because they can. Do ASMR for $50. I'm already doing ASMR. Raising funds without monetization. Oh yeah. Yeah, I turned off monetization because I learned that apparently if you have, so like when you click monetization, you have to click like, I confirm that this does not contain content that's like controversial or, you know, these kinds of things. And I can't necessarily control what comes up in the chat. So I think the standard model people use is people like unmonetize the live stream, and then I think in retrospect they'll make like monetized clips from the live streams. I just really don't want to risk having the channel get flagged, because if my if I lose my like channel credibility for like being, you know, trustworthy monetization, then you get stuck in having like every video demonetized for no reason. Just hypothetical thought. Could I possibly code one of my friends into the ICE wanted list? You check the president's search history. I'm just going to ignore that and work on figuring out why my print doesn't work. Oh, I forgot to add a changed region. That's why it's not working. When are we getting live stream in the outdoors? I did a few outdoor live streams a while ago. If you check my channel, I think live streaming in the woods part X and Y Z. I guess I stopped doing it because it, in my opinion, it's not very interesting. It's just walking around outside. I need a piece of like actual content. I had actually been thinking about taking a day off from working on this game once I reach a milestone, but then I was like, I kind of want to work more. All right, I think I'll give you guys a timeout. All right. So that fixed the issue with not printing. James Goodrich sends $10. Let's hope they don't switch to another account for more spam. Yeah, that's always another thing that can happen. But again, I guess it's you get what you ask for. Putting stuff live on the internet. Now I want to figure out. I forget the NC escape sequence for clearing screen. Let's not give them ideas. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. I guess if people come back and start, if it becomes really bad, we could just ban. Can we get the U tutorial from the CPU tutorial? I was thinking about doing a part 2 to that video. I have a few things to work through first. Oh, 332J. Oh, thanks. And now I don't have to Google it. right, let's test this with background colors. Panzer came here to say this. Not sure what that means. Oh, the user Panzer IV. we get you on the CPU tutorial? Someday. Oh, interesting, the UI doesn't update. Still has a low number of viewers. It also didn't update the chat revenue. I think sometimes there's a bug where if it's in the background, the window doesn't like update or something. Let me change the focus. Maybe that was something that changed with the new driver. Oh, that's why. Going for a walk. Be back in I'm not sure what the B would stand for. In a bit. That's what it stands for. Just thinking about to make this thing actually work on all the different terminals. There's all kinds of different weird cases where characters can be different widths. Sometimes the width detection is actually even wrong. And I don't think there's a super robust way to just make this work all the time efficiently. Wait, what? Who spammed? There was a couple, I guess, Zoomers or Gen Alpha people spamming weird questions. What do they spam specifically? Just like irrelevant questions. There's apparently some like meme where you cover the camera or something. They wanted me to cover the camera. And just asking all kinds of nonsense questions. I mean, I guess you can skip back earlier in the stream. I should check if this works in within IntelliJ. That was another thing that was broken. Want to cover the cam? You're a bombshell. 69% of the chat is probably just getting lost in your eyes. I don't know. Can they even see? It's not super. I'm not super big on the screen. It's not about the eye color or any specifics. It's about how you use them. It's a pretty specific reason to watch the stream. I just leave this on the background. Yeah, there's I guess a few different reasons people seem to watch the streams. Sometimes it's just to check in and chat if they see one of my other videos. Sometimes it's background noise. Some people also have just never seen coding. I think that seems to be the biggest or one of the bigger interest categories is people just, it's like if you don't know anything about blacksmithing, like watching a video of someone doing blacksmithing or something, you just want to know how it's done. So this doesn't work, probably. And it's super slow. And we still got all those trailing null characters. Hope you have a good weekend. Stopping in real fast. Oh yeah, it's Friday. Nice. I'm exploring Linux CLI and C programming. Your experience and videos show me the way ahead a few meters. I almost went to do game development, so I vibe a lot with your stuff. Feel like it's a look in the mirror universe. Yeah, I think game development is depending on whether you're doing like your own indie game development, which is kind of a very its own specific kind of insanity. And then there's the industry, which is, I've never worked in the game development industry, but from what I understand, it's pretty brutal, and it's like exploitation of the passionate is, I think, one of the ways they describe it. Now I forget how I solved this case. If your game is failable, I'd love to be a tester. It does exist on GitHub. You can clone it right now and basically get this version. I have a pretty stable release version that I did recently. Game development industry is pretty hostile, even to its consumers. Yeah, it is. It seems like they, like executives basically treat gamers just like addicts or something. Indie dev is also like it's pretty like. I think there's a lot of sad stories of people just trying their hardest and not making it all. I think there's a lot of business skills lacking in some of the indie dev projects. Honestly, I think being good at marketing is probably even more, is like the most important thing for if you're going to succeed doing like anything indie. What's that? A bug or something? Space Invader? Oh, okay. Followed you on GH. I'm not a Java guy, but I'll read your install walkthrough and hopefully be up and running. Can't wait to explore what you made. Thanks for checking it out. I think only a handful of people have actually used the game. You don't necessarily have to build. You can probably run the precompiled jar. I think there actually is, depending on there's a J&I library that's installed. So actually, if you try to run the precompiled jar, and if it crashes immediately, it's probably because of the J&I library. So if you can do -- disable J&I, I've been meaning to add that to the message. Yeah, and actually, if there's like a if you try to compile it and it like fails, you can just go ahead and like file an issue and just copy and paste whatever error. And no need to debug. But if it does fail to build, there were some weird issues I had with my. I had some non-relative paths before that made the Java build break. Lucky for you, I kind of like compilation. Should be fun. I'll leave a report with the error should I find one. If I were to release this game, if you were to release this game, how would you make the installation easier on the end user? That's a good question. For Minecraft, and over a Minecraft server, they just had you could just download the jar, precompiled jar. I don't have a lot of experience with like doing large consumer-facing things, but I'd say, I mean, at this point, I'll probably just keep developing as I am, and then if people tell me like, "Hey, I tried this and it doesn't work," what gives? Then I'll just fix things as need be. I'd probably have to add more like J&I binaries into it to make it run well on different platforms. You seem to be keeping a large edits register in your head. It can make many changes at once. Maybe. I guess I know where all the code is, and I'm really familiar with it. Sometimes it takes. Actually, I found one consequence of like working on this a little bit every day is like I remember where everything is in the code. But if I go away from this for a month, then I'll totally forget about it. Nice. $10. Thank you very much to Audio Didact. We're now at $27 for the night. I think that's the first time I've seen that. Is that a super sticker? I'm still getting used to all the different things you can send. Super sticker. Didn't want to say words, so it's an option. Neat. What's your take on AI dev? Why not apply for a job at one of those companies? I don't. I never did any focus on AI. I did a bit of AI before I went to university, way back in the day. But I've pretty much none of my career I've done AI stuff. But I've yet to actually try out AI dev. It's on my to-do list, but I have too many other things on the to-do list. GD, thank you very much. Didactic. 10 credits are intergalactic. That's definitely one way to put it. It's emergent. High CS skill seems to be the most crucial prereq. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't plan to go back into the regular corporate world again. I think I'm probably too old at this point. According to John Carmack, no one reads all the papers anyway. That doesn't surprise me, but I think most of those companies want young people, because young people are easier to exploit. They haven't figured out how the software development industry works yet. You think 40-year-old devs don't get hired? They get hired a lot less. It depends on their career. I mean, you're going to be scrutinized a lot more heavily. And like the money you would get at a corporate job isn't worth your time. You lose by working it. I mean, it's a tough call because like if so right now I'm not making much of my business, but I also have a lower tax rate in the business. But if I get a job here in Canada, I would make like way more for salary, but then also that puts me into a higher tax bracket. So I would still have more after tax income, but it's not like if I can just get my business income up a bit more, then I could still, you know, I wouldn't need to raise my business income as much, and I would even be doing better than I would if I was at a company here in Canada. But then if I was serious about getting back into corporate, I would leave Canada. But then that's also problematic because I have some family here, and if I'm like out of the country, if I like uproot my life and try to like the closest thing to roots I have is here in Canada. So it's not quite about like if I'm only thinking like 6 months into the future, maybe it makes sense. And then also if I get back into it, like it's also this would be the worst time in the past like 15 years to get into getting a tech job. So like what if I go and waste all, like it takes like 6 months, it's like 6 months of interviews. Even I remember back when the market was good, it was normal to spend like 6 months doing interviews and flying around and stuff. So I imagine it's even worse now. And then you can get hired, and then 6 months later they just lay you off. So I mean that's a cynical take, but I've already got momentum on what I'm doing. Now it's taken me 10 years of business to get to this point. Get that backwards. nobody can tax your time. Do you have any dreams of building anything in particular? Money aside? I'm going to work on this game and see what kind of interest I can build in this. I think I'll probably continue with the existing model. And I mean, the most successful model for most games now is everything is going to microtransactions. So I think it would make sense to like the license is proprietary, and to have a license to play the game, it costs like $1. But there's a lot of people who are like interested in small games like this. So I may just pursue a model where I get people to pay $20 to sponsor a block type in the game. Once I have the UI working a bit better, then I'll be in a position to like start adding new recipes and block types, and like if I add some of that now, I already have like 20 different block types, and you don't really do anything with them. But after the next push, I guess solicit purchases like that. I'll probably come up maybe like with a term of service or something. So I could put that right in the stream. So like maybe if I conclude this raising funds for a world domination series at some point, then I'll switch to or I guess I could just continue on with this and put up like a price list or something. Like if you want to sponsor a recipe in the game, and then I'll add a recipe or a production rule or something, or a block type, and then you get to have your name beside it. More focused on the business side than the coding side. Historically, I did custom software development, but that's kind of dried up to nothing. Request get a key logging display widget so we can scope out your Vim actions. I could, but yeah, I'm not sure. I can't guarantee I'll get around to setting that up. See, I did not quite expect that. the dev chat says, hey, good evening. How's it going? That may have made it even faster. That's pretty good now. Can you give me a brief overview of the game in your own words? So it is a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore. So I can go over here and I spam the M key and it'll mine these blocks. And then they show up in your inventory, which is so here's the list of blocks in my inventory. There's currently not a lot of content in the game, so you can, the only goals are to make a couple of pickaxes, which, so if I select a different pickaxe, stone pickaxe, it'll mine out to a larger radius. And currently that's the only game mechanic. And it's an infinite procedurally generated universe. How's the game? It's coming along. I'm currently working on some unit tests. There's a number of bugs related to merging screen layers and stuff. And I've just finished consolidating. So with the code in, so this function here, merge changes, used to be like 5 different functions in different places. So I consolidated all of those and moved them into one class. And now the next stage is I'm going to try to just, now that I've deleted a lot of code and consolidated it, now I'm going to work on optimizing it and also pinning it to some test cases. So now that it works, I'm writing up some test cases on how I want it to work, because there's a bunch of edge cases with like merging layers and stuff. And it gets tricky with the multi-column characters and stuff. All right, I got some. I didn't get many test cases done tonight, but I got one optimization, and tomorrow we can start making some more of the difficult, some of the more intricate test cases. I guess if you guys want to continue your discussion about the game, so there's a Discord. So if you go to my channel, there's a link to join the Discord. So that's my official Discord. But since I don't have the time to manage a Discord, that'll give you a link to the unofficial Discord. So that's where most people talk, where I don't. There's some other people who moderate that. But if you go to the link on my channel, YouTube channel page, that link has a mistake in it deliberately. The last character is a Z character, and if you delete that, then you'll get to my Discord, and then from there you can get to the real Discord, or the one that people actually use. And there's I think there's game dev chat is there, and I think there's a couple other people who are interested in game dev. So if you're interested in game dev, then I wouldn't mind if there was more people there. Rush in. Says, hi, please tell my name. I hope I've satisfied your request. But yeah, on that note, I'll leave that there, and I'll be back tomorrow night for day 86. Have a good night, guys.